It's time for my spread predictions for the wild card weekend. Let's go. Now I have a tough decision to make here because I have a really strong trend, a historical trend that's gone 63.3% during the wild card weekend all the way since the 2020-2021 season. Or I have a model this year which has hit 60% in games that matter in weeks 11 through 16. So which way am I going to go? Am I going to go with the trend or the model? Well, for this video, I'm going to talk about the trend, and I'm going to give you the trend predictions for all 6 games. I'll make a video for my model and post that later on today on Friday. So what's this trend here? In the wild card round, teams with a higher strength of schedule plus strength of victories cover the spread at a rate of 63.3%. So I'm talking about teams that are battle tested, teams that have a good strength of schedule, and even better than that, have beaten good teams, have beaten playoff teams. In the first round of playoffs, these teams tend to cover the spread at a much higher rate than the other teams. We know that some teams barely get into the playoffs, and other teams might have had a lighter schedule, and that's what this trend dissects. Let's see how this trend has done in the last 5 seasons. Since the 2020-2021 season, that's when the NFL went to this 14-team playoffs. 7 teams in both conferences make the playoffs, only the number 1 seeds get the bye. In that first crazy season, that COVID season, this trend went 3-3. The next season, 4-2, 5-1, 3-3, and 4-2 for a 19-11 record, or a 63.3% hit rate. Very profitable indeed. A lot of people like to throw out that COVID season, 2020-2021, and that's fine with me, because in the last 4 seasons, this trend is 16-8 for a 66.7% hit rate. But you might want to talk to Tom Brady and the Bucs, because in the 2020-21 season, that's when they won the Super Bowl. Let's get to the picks for this trend. I'm going to break this down by conferences. First, the AFC games where the Bills at the Jaguars. If we look at this metric, the Bills have a 0.90 and the Jaguars a 0.94. So that would mean pick the Jaguars plus 1.5 to cover the spread. There are still some 1.5s out there. This line is actually going down, but I got this plus 1.5 minus 120 juice on FanDuel. Now, a little information about these numbers here. 0.9 to 0.95 is about average. Anything below 0.9 is below average, and any number 1 and above is a very strong value here. Because we count the strength of victories twice here, these numbers can get above 1.0. But that's only for teams that have strong strength of schedules and victories against really good teams. In the next AFC game with the Chargers, the Patriots, and the Chargers have a 0.890, and the Patriots have 0.7595. Now hold the phone here. A lot has been said about the Patriots' schedule this year. They're 14-3. They've had a really impressive year, but who have they played? And more importantly, who have they beaten? This is a very low number. I don't know if this is historically low for this metric, but this is as low as I've seen in the last 3 years. So how did the Patriots get to 14-3? Let's break this down a little bit further here. I don't want to pick on the Patriots. I really like their team. I really like Drake May. I definitely think he's an MVP candidate. But check this out. I've sorted the teams from top to bottom based on their record. So the Broncos and the Seahawks are 14-3, down to the Lions and the Vikings are 9-8. These are the teams with winning records. There's 14 teams, not including the Patriots. Down here at the bottom, the Panthers down to the Titans, there are 17 teams with losing records. And for the top group here, the Patriots are 1-2. That's right. They've only beaten 1 team with a winning record this year. That was the Bills. And of course, they lost to the Bills too. And that second loss is against the Steelers. So against the top teams, they're only 1-2. For the bottom 17 teams there, they're 13-1. So say what you want about the Patriots. I do believe they're a strong team. They just haven't been battle tested. And we'll see what happens in these playoffs. But according to this trend, we would pick the Chargers plus 3.5 to cover the spread. In the final AFC game with the Texans at the Steelers, the Texans have a 0.9669 and the Steelers 0.9594. Now those are really good numbers there, or they should be for playoff teams. But the Texans have a slight edge here. So we picked the Texans minus 3.0 to cover the spread on the road. So our best bets based on this trend for the AFC games were the Jaguars plus 1.5, the Chargers plus 3.5, and the Texans minus 3.0. Let's look at the NFC games. The first one on Saturday, we have the Rams at the Panthers. The Rams have a 1.0772 and the Panthers 0.9943. Now the Rams, being in the NFC West division, have a very strong strength of schedule and some really good wins. The Panthers played the NFC West this year, and we know they beat the Rams, so they got a really good value here for this metric, but the Rams edge them out, so we'd pick the Rams minus 10.5 to cover the spread on the road. In the next NFC game with the Packers at the Bears, and the Packers have a 0.9120 and the Bears 0.8652. This means that the Bears' strength of schedule plus strength of victories is lower than average, and this trend would pick the Packers minus 1.0 to cover the spread on the road. And finally, we have the 49ers at the Eagles. The 49ers have a 0.8909 and the Eagles 0.9468. Now, of course, the 49ers are in the NFC West, so they have a strong strength of schedule, but they've lost to some really good teams, the Rams and the Seahawks, and in the AFC South, they lost to the Jaguars and the Texans. So I do not see a bright future for the 49ers in this playoffs. And according to this trend, we picked the Eagles minus 4.5 to cover the spread at home. So our best bets for the NFC are the Rams minus 10.5, the Packers minus 1.0, and the Eagles minus 4.5. I can't wait to see how this trend works out in the wild card weekend. I just want to mention one more time here, this is a 63.3% hit rate for this trend. It's not 100%, but for sports betting, 63.3% is excellent. but don't count on every single one of these games hitting. It's very unlikely that any trend or any model ever hits 100%, but I'll take 63.3% any day. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be posting my model picks later on, and we'll compare those picks to these trend picks. Good luck in wildcard weekend. Let's go!